That was it. The scratch means that our time is up. The commercial is over. And real quick, y'all, what's up? What's up? Hey, Denice, well, shit, she is joining us from the flight. We actually just made the decision to postpone this topic for February 4th, which will be our next live, because next week we're supposed to be in person. Because Denice, this was your topic idea. And so Q was like, and I'm like, yeah. So we decided we're just gonna do freestyle. We're gonna do kind of pick a post and try to save as much as the possible 2025 predictions for the February 4th conversation, when you will hopefully be available. Because I remember, Q, you've always said how that was always like, not really a pet peeve, but you like, it always be somebody's topic.
It just happens. The person, yeah. That would all often happen like that.
When we would meet in person, it was always like that. We'd have a great conversation. People would have topics that Tuesday night before everybody left. And then we show back up that next Tuesday ready to do that person's topic. And that person was definitely MIA. So we decided to do some pick a post, some freestyle, and we'll do the 2025 predictions in 2 weeks. So are you still good with that?
A lot can happen in 2 weeks.
A lot can happen in 2 weeks. I mean, think about how much has happened just since last Tuesday when we talked about what 2024 was for us. It ain't been but a week's time. And I have a whole piece of paper full of notes that I was going to talk about tonight. So we'll definitely have some more stuff to chew on in the next 14 days-ish or so. But I'm just updating my Facebook. I saw Denice had logged in there, so that's what's up. Let's see. If you want to tap in, go for it. I'm just updating my Facebook real quick.
Yeah, guys, make sure you do the same. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and participate. One of the things as far as participation, get on live with us. So the link is there if you're on YouTube or on Facebook. All you got to do, if you've never been on StreamYard before, it's very simple. Just follow the link. It'll let you in. Once it lets you in, we'll let you in. Just keep in mind, have something in your ears so the sound doesn't bleed out. Keep in mind, it's also adult content and adult conversation. And yeah, just come with the open mind. Be prepared to share your thoughts openly and freely. Don't worry, ain't nobody here but us. That's it. Don't just block out. Don't even pay attention to all the other people who may be watching. And hey, Trump said he bringing back freedom of speech, so you should feel free to say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder how that go.
Oh no, that was
so. Let me just jump in this part of it. Did you watch any of the inauguration speech or any of the opening ceremony?
I did not watch the inauguration. I was cleaning that day, and I don't remember whose house I was cleaning at, but they didn't have it on. And usually when people are home, they have that stuff on, so I'll overhear it. But I didn't. But I definitely have the highlighted version, I feel like, which I still don't like to necessarily comment on something I really didn't give any attention to watch for context, but it's still been pretty interesting to say the least.
Listen,
so no.
I watch for entertainment purposes
right,
only.
Right.
Which is funny to me because, and I also realize it's potentially dangerous on my part because I try not to be a person that harms other people. But I lack so much sensitivity when it comes to politics. I really forget how sensitive and how emotional people are when it comes to politics.
You forgot that part?
Yeah, because I just be talking about it, matter of fact, and I'm talking about it just objectively. I'm talking about it just...
But you of all people know that most people do not operate that way. They're very sensitive.
I know, and that's what I said. I forget that.
I can't believe.
And then next thing you know, like, especially free thinkers, all right, we having a conversation, we going there. I'm attacking both sides. I'm giving credit to both sides. People get mad when I give one side credit over the other. And it's like people are really in their and it's funny because after that portion of the conversation is passed, people will still be in their feelings. I'm like, oh shoot, you still mad about that? I'm like, I wasn't even, not only did I forget about it, I wasn't thinking about it while we was even talking. And I forget how sensitive people with politics are. Now, it's the same. Like, I literally think politics and religion, I told somebody this, I think it uses the same part of the brain, politics and religion, because I see the same triggers, I see the same I see the same blind spots, I see the same people going out of their way to support a certain thing and going out of their way to overlook the flaws of their own group. Like everything about politics and religion, I see the same way. And it's because I'm somewhat detached from both. I practice in politics, meaning I do vote. I practice in religion, meaning I do go to church, I pray, I do a lot of stuff like that. But there's certain elements of it, the organized element, like it doesn't mean anything to me on a general scale. I practice what I do for personal reasons, but I don't feel any type of affinity or obligation to get others to, and maybe that's the free thinker in me. I really have no desire to change anybody's opinion or mind. My goal is to get you to think, to open up your brain and to come to your own conclusions based off the information that you have and get all of the other bias out the way. That's really my only objective. Find yourself and come up with your own thoughts. But I realize people really get in their feelings, and I think it's dangerous for me because I just be talking and I'm not sensitive when it comes to, because when it comes to something, maybe it's like relationships and breakups, I'm sensitive to that stuff. I'm like, I'm sorry. When it comes to death, loss of job, loss of income, just social issues, day-to-day struggles, I'm sensitive to those type of things. Politics, I'm not sensitive, and religion, I'm really not that sensitive to. So that's dangerous for me. But
I have such a hard time with that, and I have such a hard time hearing you say that because politics and religion are so oppressive to people. I think all people in some ways, but some people in like all ways, right? Like so to partake.
Hold on. Say that again. Some people in
I think that
way
politics and religion affect all people in some ways.
Okay.
But I think that it affects some people in all ways, right? Like there is no, it only affects me here and here.
And I don't think it should. That's my problem. I don't think it should affect you in all ways.
But it does. Right. And that's how it's so just like I talk about weather being weaponized, obviously politics and religion have been weaponized. They're doing exactly what they're designed to do. So for me to look at them both in that way, because that makes them pretty fucking nefarious, at their root, if you think about it. If division,
what does nefarious mean?
But if division is the goal, right? Like and continuing to support a hierarchy from one reason or another, like why partake, right? Like so for me, I'm just like, I'm stepping out of religion and I'm stepping out of politics because like I feel like any dance with either of them is like complicit to a certain degree, right?
We are.
Well,
we're absolutely complicit.
But we don't have to be. I don't know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I struggle with.
Well, you don't necessarily. Yeah, you have to, because the society that we live in, there's no way to escape religion. That's all intertwined in day-to-day life, whether it's you personally or the people that you deal with.
No, I agree with you only because I agree with you on that facet only because I can remove myself completely from religion. However, I live in a religious society. We live in a country that's dominated by religious-based laws, patriarchal-based laws, God-driven laws, right? Oppressive-based laws. So like I know that even if I unplug, it's still there, right? Just like I
Right.
know that if I unplug from politics, it's still there. Hence the
Right.
conversation we had earlier. Like I thought you said it didn't matter, right? But like obviously, right?
And
However,
you will be affected to some degree by other people's politics.
absolutely. I mean, I
Right.
can't have an abortion if I feel as though I need to
That's
have
what
an
I'm saying.
abortion, you know?
Yeah.
Like so you definitely have to deal with it, but you don't
But
but
okay, so
you
I'll
still
say this.
choose how much you give to it.
Yes. And the amount of influence it has is what confuses me about how people will take it serious, like the end all be all is the end of the world. The sky is falling. Oh my God, if Trump get in office, the sky is going, the sky is falling. Everything is. He was just in office 4 years ago. Was it the end of the world? Like, how do you keep saying every time a Republican or a Democrat gets in office, it's going to be the end of the world? This person gets in office. They've been in office. Democrats been in office. Republicans been in office. Good people have been in office. Bad people have been in office. In politics, the needle moves this much either way, no matter who's in there. And it's like, how do you, and it's, I mean, what does your worry do to fix the situation?
I don't necessarily think one has to be worried per se. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't have to be your common emotion. I think if you're trying to remove yourself right from the system, but if you engage in the system, it's designed to create worry. It's designed to make the person who is a subscriber to the system fucking being anxiety driven. Am I going to heaven? Am I going to hell? Is this good or is this bad? Like, is this what I'm supposed to do, or is this like what I'm not supposed to do? Like, so it keeps you in a state of worry, a state of not trusting yourself, a state of not believing your own ideas.
So again, my goal in all conversations that I have is get people to be one with themselves, so that they don't have to be scared or fearful about what outside forces are telling you to be scared of.
But that's also not the country we live in. So just like I have to acknowledge that we live in a religious political place, you got to acknowledge we live in a fear-driven society. Everything that people watch and are subject to, from what you see to what you hear to what you're exposed to, is fear-driven,
So,
history.
should we be sensitive to the fears of others, even if we feel that they're invalid? Like, do we have a responsibility to cater to the feelings and emotions of?
Cater? No, that's a different question. Do we need to be aware of things? I think yes. Cater?
I mean, aware to the point that I would change my conversation. I may shorten conversations. Like there's several times that I've had to cut conversations short because I've seen it's a sensitive issue for some people.
This is gonna turn bad because I'm not gonna stop if you put a quarter in me. So it's up to you.
My sister was telling me that when we was doing high IQ yesterday, and we got to talking about politics, and it turned into a sensitive spot.
I didn't know if y'all were live last night. Okay.
Oh, you need to go back. See, I had a bunch of pastors on for the last 2 weeks.
I saw that.
I've been on this Jesus thing. I've been on this Jesus thing for the last few weeks. I don't know what's going on, but I brought some pastors on, and you need to go back and watch that. Those I
will. I wasn't sure if it was an old episode or not because I hadn't seen that many of your pastor friends on there in a long time. But I was like, oh my God, there's a bunch of people on here. But it said part 2, so I was like, there's a part 1 I gotta watch.
Yeah, we did one the week before.
Okay.
But yeah, so so when I realize someone's triggered, then oftentimes I'll pull back. But then the question is, should I have to pull back? Do I need to pull back? That ain't a me problem. That's a you problem. Stop being so sensitive.
Well, that's true, but there's also, we do have to be responsible in our delivery. If our intention is
Right.
not to have ill intention,
True.
then the delivery shouldn't be ill either, right? If our
Right.
intention is to just engage in conversation, then I'm not responsible for how you receive this message.
Right.
But if I send it the way it's intended to be sent, then I got no responsibility in how you took it. So, but I do think that it is important to be mindful of a lot of things that might not necessarily be important to us, just so that we can handle other people, properly, the way that they need to be handled. But cater to, no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. No.
Sometimes I might feel like that's what I'm doing though. So
Catering
for
to?
instance, whenever I monitor my speech based on another person's feelings or emotions, especially when I know, because I know how to instigate.
Right.
I know how to pick at people. And I know I'm not doing that. So it's just you
Right.
being sensitive. And if you being sensitive,
That's
then
100% the case. Yes, that is 100% accurate in some situations. Yes, but if you're doing it with a malicious intent, it's gonna come out.
Right. And
So
I don't think I really have malicious intents anymore.
right. Well,
I don't
I
think
think
so. I can't remember the last time I've done something with a
I would
malicious
say the
intent.
majority is very, very low. If there was, I would be a very low percentage of conversations or dialogue where it was like malicious. Don't get me wrong, I can cut you, but I'm not gonna. I prefer not to. I'd rather not. I don't like to use that type of energy, but we
I
can
don't
if you
even
want.
cut people anymore when I have the opportunity to.
I don't either, but it's in there still. I mean, it's not like it's gone, but I don't
It's a
either.
literal choice that I have to make. Like, oh, I could really go in on you right now, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, yeah, I don't even have to struggle with it. I just go over here and just chill. So when people are like, "Oh, you're so mean," I'm like, "No, I'm not mean. Mean is, you have the wrong word in your mind if
Who
you think."
said that? You know what? Let me interpret this for you, Nikki.
Go ahead, tell me.
Somebody say you so mean, especially if it's a male. The interpretation is, I'm trying to get into your inner circle, but you got this wall up that I can't penetrate for whatever reason. I don't know the words to say, or I don't know the actions to take to get inside that wall. And then their response to, "Oh, you're just mean." So they try to say that to disarm you, to open you up more, because they haven't found the words, the right key of words to unlock those doors and walls to get in.
Yeah, well,
That's what they're saying.
That's definitely not
And
real.
listen, I don't even know who you talking about who say that, but I bet you,
Right.
I bet you most of the people who say that is
Mean, and
some
you know
people
I'm
that you
not
know
mean.
low
I'm
key
not a
want to
mean
get with you.
person.
Oh, you so mean.
So
Like,
not
man,
mean.
just step your game up and stop making excuses.
I remember once
Or
I remember once we were at a family dinner, and I don't even remember what we were talking about or what it was about, but it was about people being mean, and like three of my female family members were like referring to me, and I was so shocked. I was like, I'm not mean, and they were like, what? I was like, y'all think I'm mean? I was like, no, you literally don't have the definition of mean figured out properly with the way that I am. I was like, as mean is not it. I was like, I just don't take no shit. Like, and I don't generally bite my tongue. Like, but I'm not mean. I never have a mean intention. So it's interesting. I've heard variations of that for a long time. And they say you're supposed to, if you hear it enough, like maybe you have to, invest in, like, are these people right? If enough people say it, is it true? If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck, is it a duck? And I'm like, no, I still refuse to believe I'm mean. I'm not mean. I refuse that.
right.
So,
Right.
back to what you said, about looking at other people or how you look at other people. It definitely makes you look at other people differently.
Now, okay, this could be a conversation for another day. There's
Have you ever been told you're mean?
definitely. Oh yeah, I used to get called that all the time, and that's what
Did
made me
you?
realize that. Oh yeah, because I used to, and this is exactly where I was about to go.
Okay.
It wasn't really that I was mean, but from a surface level, I was very uninviting.
Okay. Okay.
My facial expressions, my body language was uninviting.
I can see that because I used to think
No.
you didn't like me when I first met you. I can totally see that. And you might not have liked me when I first met you.
No, I liked everybody. I was in a pretty
Who
nice
cute? I
space
like
even
you.
back then.
I did not think
It's
you liked me.
that's that Midwest, Decatur, Chicago type of.
I mean, and I can see that. Yeah, I totally understand that today.
Yeah, and it was, and that's how most people are. They until you actually speak to them or you know what a person is about, then they will come off a certain way. Now, the moment you speak to, I can, and they're like, hey, how you doing? And then it's like, oh, he not mean. He just looked mean. So there's a difference between being mean and being uninviting. So if someone calls you mean, there could be a chance that they're saying you have an initial uninviting presence to yourself.
I mean, yes, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't even think that's in all situations. I think if someone approaches you not in the presence of a significant portion of your tribe, that can be, because when you're around your people, then you get bubbly, you happy, you know, it's, you can see the energy. If you're not around a bunch of people that you know and rock with, then you could come off, initially you can come off a certain type of way.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. But some people just have like an energy about them that says, right? Like,
right.
I don't think my whole.
But what they're saying is, what they're also saying is, I wish you would come speak to me or let me speak to you, but you just,
well,
you seem like a difficult person to approach. That's what they're saying. Let
that be the reason.
Especially for a person who will make that label to you when you haven't even had an extensive conversation with them yet.
Right.
Like, how can you call me mean? We haven't had a long enough conversation for you to know if I'm mean or not.
Literally.
You just going surface.
Literally. I had that conversation Sunday night with somebody. I did.
Oh, they were trying to get with you. Who said that?
A 3-second conversation. That's all that was.
Yeah.
Listen,
stop calling people mean. Learn how to initiate and develop a conversation.
Yeah. What makes you say mean? You know, if you're engaging in a conversation with somebody and you thinking about saying out your mouth to this person that they're mean, what is it that they're saying or doing that makes it?
It's a dismissive term. To call someone mean that you haven't had that conversation or any experience with is very dismissive. It's you trying to find a way to put someone in a box that you can understand when you don't actually understand them. When the actual thing you should do is really get to understand, get to know them so that you can understand them.
Right. Learn something.
Now, let's man, all right, it's a lot of elements to this. Now, let's be honest with yourself. It's a few different things, especially men dealing with women.
Okay.
Women deal with a lot of creeps all the time. So if they are initially uninviting to you, don't always take it personal. Just realize they deal with a lot of ish on a regular basis.
Of course.
Number 2, be honest. Know your intentions. If you have not the purest of intentions when you approach somebody, don't be mad if they peep game or if they stand off. It's like there are certain instances. There's certain instances. If a woman is standoffish to me, then I could be like, yeah, you probably made the right choice. I didn't have any real pure intentions. I wasn't really trying to be your friend. So yeah, you probably peeped it right.
Right.
I ain't even mad at you for walking off. You got to be honest sometimes. Like, yeah, what was your, don't act like you just trying to be friendly all the time. If they can feel and smell and see the
bullshit.
Not even bullshit. The carnality oozing off of you.
Hey, the carnality. Wow, for real. When you can smell that shit, like get out of my face.
Yeah, you're right. You know, good choice. Good choice on your part.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a time and place for everything. I was literally thinking about this yesterday and I wanted to post about it. And I was like, no, I'll put it on my list. Like, so in the dynamic of men and women, right? Like my and I'll answer any question in regards to women, but like to men, y'all gotta read the room a little bit better sometimes. Like you really got to. It may be really easy. I don't know. I've never had to be a man to hit on women. It's totally different role reversal for men versus women in this dynamic. So I don't know what men go through. I just know what we go through, and you really ought to
Mm.
read better. I get that you miss all of the shots that you don't take, and so all you need is one fucking yes. But like, you just gotta read the room a little bit better because there are some times where a conversation starts to try to be had, and it's like you can't be serious. You do know that this was not going to turn out in your favor. Like, why even put yourself through that situation, right? So, was he supposed to read the room better? Was he supposed to check the temperature better? I believe so. I would never approach a woman if I hadn't checked the temperature first and knew that it was probably a green fucking light. But I'm also not a man who's ever had to do this, so I don't know how that works for y'all.
That's why I never get. That's why I really hardly ever. It's hard for me to think of a time where I got shot down or turned down because I feel out a person's energy first.
Right.
Just the simplest of simplest things.
Got to, man.
You whatever. Hey, how you doing? You enjoying? You know, you having fun? Just check their response. Check their body language. Check they do they reciprocate your question with an answer and a question. Oh yeah, I'm having fun. I'm living it up. How you doing? You out here having fun? Who are you out here with? That's now that don't mean everything, but it does mean at least they're inviting enough to you to want to have some type of interaction.
Right.
That don't even mean they want to be with you or they necessarily like. That just mean they open for conversation and they open. If you ask 3 questions and you get a 1-word response after every question, they're not interested.
That part.
They're not feeling your energy. Move along. How you doing? I'm fine. You been out here for how long you been out here for a while? No, not long. Oh, okay. Who is that your homegirl? Yeah, we just getting drinks. Oh, okay. Well, I hope y'all enjoy y'all evening. Y'all have fun. And then keep moving along.
Yep. And I think in that situation, simply my experience, or maybe it's just because this is how I am as a woman. I don't know. I can't speak for all women, and I know all things are not the same. But I would never try to be mean in that situation. I'm gonna give you short, brief, like my energy is I'm cool, bro. Like I feel you, but like I'm not interested. Please walk away. Like I'm not gonna like. It's not. No. Right? Like not right now.
That's just the entry level.
So read the room.
So you at work, especially because at work you can get yourself in trouble. You can get fired. You know you can get HR issues. All that.
Literally
basic stuff. You in the break room. Oh man, don't smell good. What you got? What you got for lunch? Just see how they respond. Right. They have open energy.
Right.
That don't mean anything or everything, but it means at least they're inviting to conversation with you.
Agree.
Oh man, what's up? Where you going? Where you going for lunch? Oh yeah, I brought my lunch. Oh, I usually go to Chick-fil-A. Oh shoot, is it good? Or whatever the case is.
Right.
Just check the response. Now if they say, oh man, you know what? Oh, well, I went here yesterday, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. What about you? What are you gonna do? See, now they're responding to you with more. They're inviting more interaction.
Yeah.
Now you can proceed to step 2 and see if there's
you check the temperature real quick.
Yeah.
Temperature is and then shit. It's green. It's warm. All right, bet. The energy continues and it's reciprocal and it's obvious and it's present. When it ain't there. Like, and even if you want it to be there, so what? Sometimes it ain't gonna be there. Like, we don't get our way all the time at all either. Our rejection just looks differently, but like, sorry, you know,
So
what?
it keeps, one thing that I keep saying is my goal is, and what my really my only goal for people who I interact with is for them, myself and them, to learn how to become one with themselves.
Okay.
Part of being or becoming one with yourself not only is learning who you are, but also learning who you are not.
Absolutely. That's critical.
So it helps for you to understand, these are my strengths, these are my attributes, these are my weaknesses. And with that, I'm comfortable with it. I'm one with that. And I also understand certain people that you meet will have other boxes that they want to check when they're looking for a potential mate or a potential friend.
Mm-hmm.
It takes nothing away from you if you're not the other person's cup of tea. That goes back to being one with yourself. You not
Right.
vibing with my conversation or how I joke, or that doesn't take anything away from me. That just means your energy is not matching my energy. It's all.
Right.
But I don't have to get mad. I ain't got to call you names. I ain't got
Yeah.
to talk down on you to feel better about myself. It's just we got two different energies. No
Right.
problem.
Right. 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 And I don't have to like you. I don't have to like
You
you.
don't.
I don't have to like you. If vice
And
versa.
I'm not living on this earth for everybody to like me.
Right. Right. Because it gets
I think
uncomfortable.
people get in their feelings and they get upset and they get
So,
hurt and they
goes to my point, or goes to what I just said. Like, it gets uncomfortable. It gets weird for us. Like, how? I mean, until I get mean, right? Like, until a woman were to
right.
have a mean response, like, at what point do you realize, like, okay, well, she's not interested. Cool, let me keep it fucking moving. Like, there's just ways that you're supposed to be able to go about things, in my opinion.
And that's the crazy part, because a lot of men, they will pretty much force a woman to be a little nice nasty to them just for them to get, like, I'm giving you subtle, gentle signs that I'm not interested. And you're not reading any of those signs. Now I have to be a little bit more straightforward, more aggressive, even to the point now you take offense. All you had to do is just read my body language when I was first talking to you, and we wouldn't have had to get this far with it for me to get you away from me.
Mm-hmm. That's always a crummy experience.
I got to do a class on this one day. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. So read the room for sure, because it isn't always mean. I think that there are probably plenty of instances where maybe women are mean and women are ugly and women are cold, or just
right,
fucking rude. Like, I'm sure there are plenty instances where that is the case, right? But if a woman is definitely not being that, and then I also have to remember, in a lot
but
of
I would
situations,
say more than half of the time before she got to the point of being mean, she tried to be polite first.
you think so?
Yes.
You think
Now,
so?
there's some people that's just assholes and some people that's just mean.
Right.
But
right.
in many, at least half, if not more than half cases, they try to be polite first, because you're not looking for conflict or whatever, unless you just, you've been drinking too much and you own it and you just letting loose or whatever. But
And that's the thing too, right? You got alcohol as a factor, you got other substances as a factor, and it's like, shit. Yeah, everybody's not mean.
It's funny because that's the most cliche statement, but it is actually true. If people hated Jesus, how do you think ain't nobody gonna hate you? Like, come on.
Who hated Jesus? People hated Jesus?
A lot of people. Pharisees, Sadducees.
Who are those?
Those were those were studiers of the law.
Studiers of the law?
Yeah, so thousands of years before Jesus even came. You talking about 20, 30 AD. And Moses and Abraham goes back 6, 7, 8,000 years.
Okay.
So Moses, Abraham, these are the distance between Moses and Jesus is like the distance between me and, we are closer to Jesus than Jesus was to Moses.
Really?
Way closer. Oh
Really?
yeah, by far.
Really? Okay.
Jesus and Moses is 6,000 to 8,000 years apart.
Damn. Okay.
You and I to Jesus is 2,000 years apart.
Okay.
So Sadducees, Pharisees, they were studiers of the law because
Okay.
initially, I ain't about to go all the way into that, but Moses,
Freestyling tonight.
when they led the children, what you say?
That's we freestyling tonight. Do what you want to do.
No, I ain't gonna go that far. Trust me,
a couple weeks.
I didn't had enough of these conversations last few weeks and sitting up there.
It's like you're boring, Nikki, so you're not gonna get me anywhere.
No, that's fine. No, I've actually, look, I just got done. You'll see if you watched last week. I had to debate some pastors who thought they knew more than me and whatever.
I love that though. I love that though. I like that.
The whole thing is I wasn't even there to debate them, but sometimes people want to debate and it's like, I'm not even trying to go there. But since you went there, let me show you something real quick. But anyway,
oh, okay.
So when you had children of Israel left Egypt, got their own land, there were different laws of Moses. There was a lot of laws that the children of Israel had to follow. So I think 613 or 614 laws that were designed for them to follow. Some laws of the land, laws of Moses, and laws of God. But so fast forward 6,000-7,000 years, Jesus is here. There are sects SECT of groups that were studiers of what those laws were, and they were there to enforce to the people how to apply those laws.
They were like police. They were like what? They were like the police and the
like the spiritual police. Yeah, the spiritual police. Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. You ain't supposed to work on the Sabbath. You ain't supposed to do this. You ain't supposed to be eating pork.
So they taught the law, or they made sure the law was applied.
They more so taught it.
Okay.
Just depending on how much influence they were, if they were. But I mean, and keep in mind, most people were not literate back in those days. So someone who could actually read and interpret, they were in a place of power or position for just the fact that they could even read, because most people
so they could say whatever they wanted to. They could say that things.
Yes, they could twist it and interpret it, because the average person wasn't able to read and understand it for themselves.
Well, how wonderful is that? Okay.
What's the whole purpose? I was saying something about. I forgot what my original point was.
They were. I asked if they were like the enforcers of the law or the teachers of the law, and you said that they were teachers. That they were more teacher like.
Yeah. I was making a point out of it. And I don't remember what it was.
Damn it.
Oh, okay. Because we were talking about Jesus being hated.
Yes.
So yes. So the Pharisees and Sadducees, they actually were two opposing groups. When it came time to crucify Jesus, they came together for the purpose of plotting on him and getting them caught up with the Romans and crucifying them. Okay. But yeah, so the Sadducees and Pharisees, those are people who are supposed to be observers of the law.
Wow.
And when Jesus came with a new way on how you were supposed to interpret the law, then they felt it was blasphemous or speaking against God. They felt that he was false, basically. So they wanted to get him killed. So anyway, when Kevin was talking about the people hated Jesus too. The first and foremost was the Pharisees and Sadducees, and it is even funny because they themselves didn't even like each other, but they found a common enemy that they hated worse than themselves, so they came together.
So they were like today's hater, a bunch of fucking haters get together and they just do hater shit. Like it's not like nothing's changed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Wow. Most interesting. Kevin, you talk about you've been on a Jesus thing. Kevin been on a Jesus thing a lot lately too. He was showing you books that he bought lately, didn't he? Wasn't that Kevin that said he got some books?
That was Yehuganah.
He got some books too.
Yeah.
He got some books.
But anyway, well, how come everybody keep getting on here? Their device not connected. Okay, I see. So from the post. Did you want to get into this Elon? Did you want to get into this Elon Musk?
I would love to get into the Elon Musk thing, especially since Yehuganah jumped on here. that would be a great place. Only because, you know, like I said, we're gonna try to steer as far away as possible from anything that looks like 2025 predictions, so we can wait for Denice to get back. But I think that this will probably be a little bit of a topic of discussion for a while.
So let me say right before we jump into that, because we
Yeah.
when we
Hold
initially
on, hold on,
start off,
hold on, hold on,
we doing a
hold
whole
on.
bunch of rabbit
Oh,
holes.
I just want to say greetings. That's all. That's it. You can go ahead. Greetings to you all. How you guys
Don't
doing? Good
interrupt
evening.
me and you only been on this live for 5 seconds.
You
Talking about hold on. Just say what's up, y'all.
can't interrupt when you come in late.
Come here late and interrupt.
What's up? How y'all doing? I just want
Doing
to,
all right, sir. How you doing?
acknowledge my presence, man. Y'all go ahead. Don't continue.
You need to
We're
clear
gonna
stage for your presence to be. You need the
package.
whole stage and the spotlight coming. I'm
No,
messing
I'm
with you.
coming to address you folks. That's all. Just saying good evening. Just
Yeah.
you know,
Well, good evening,
courtesy.
sir. I'm messing with you. Thank you.
Turn your camera on.
So, oh, the initial part. This is what I wanted to tell you.
Yes.
I think that's how this whole conversation started. I watched that the inauguration speech.
That part. Okay. That's where
This
we were
is
at.
dangerous. This is let me tell you what's dangerous.
Okay. You think it's dangerous?
Oh my God, let me tell you why.
Okay.
I think Kevin a Trump supporter, ain't he? Kevin is a Trump supporter, ain't he? But anyway.
He definitely isn't the other one.
I think Kevin's a Trump supporter.
I
That's
don't know
all
if
right.
he's the other one.
I'm sure he'll tell us in a second. It is dangerous to have a president that holds grudges, like major grudges. He is still, go back and watch it. He is still mad about everything that happened 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, he's highly upset.
Right.
And it's all over his body language, everything. I'm like, you still mad. That's not a good look for a president. You can't be going around mad at people. And like he's you can tell. And I listened to his inauguration speech however many years ago that was, 8 years ago, whatever. He's even more like, y'all have created a monster. The fact that he can grab him by the and say that they eating the cats and dogs, like all of he can do and say literally anything, and his followers will excuse it. So now he's like, I don't even need a filter. I don't need to be remotely PC. I don't need to cater to the other side, especially he got Senate and the House. So like, I don't need to cater to any side. He's speaking so direct and matter of fact. And he was that's so tacky. He was throwing shots at Biden while Biden and the presidents was sitting right there in front of him.
Literally. And didn't care at all.
I mean, this is way better. The last 4 years has been a disaster. He over here signing all these executive orders. Biden would have never did anything like this. I'm like, dude, you got to let it go, man. We need you to run a country. Like, stop it. That's dangerous. That's extremely dangerous. And you are declaring war on, let's go to history. And this ain't gonna be long as it sounds like it is.
No.
World War II. The reasons the Germans lost, they had the best army. But the reason they lost is they stretched themselves too thin because they were fighting a war on too many fronts. They were fighting Russia, going at it with Russia. Then they were fighting England. So they got half of their troops over here, then they got half their troops over here. They invading certain area in Italy to go get back Mussolini. That they are fighting on so many different fronts. They spread themselves too thin, and that also ultimately that cost them the war. All my point is, if you pick a fight with too many people at the same time, you're gonna spread yourself too thin, and that's not a good idea. He'd already addressed out of nowhere, we about to take back the Panama Canal. We ain't calling it this. Like, we're going to do this with the borders. We're going to do this with the Panama Canal. We going at the Israel-Palestine thing. We going at China. We doing like, you can't do all of this at one time. You're going to spread yourself too thin. And when one of these things require a large portion of your attention, you won't be able to do it because you done jumped into 10 different things at the same time. It's not smart. If that's a prediction of mine, then that could be a 2025 prediction. But anyway, what was you about to say, Nick?
Okay, so one, shit, you said a lot, but one, I want to go back to the holding. I definitely want to touch on the holding grudges part. But don't you think that they've had 4 years to formulate whatever the plan is going to be, so that when I get back in there in these next 4, we ready to go? So all these things are, I would imagine, well thought out, well planned out. They've all been, it's like organized crime. They've all been working together to ensure that whenever we put him in the next time, because we knew he was going to win. I don't care who you voted for or what you thought. Those of us that knew, you knew he was going to fucking win. This is who the powers that be, the puppet masters, the whoever's, right? This is what they needed to have happen in order for the balance scales, to continue to stay in their favor. So they had time to formulate their plan of attack. They had the game plans already written out. It was ready to go. And all of these other key players are absolutely on board. They're checked in. They're like little suicide bombers. These fuckers are like jihadis, right? Like, they're ready to go at any time. They're patriots on fucking demand. And when you have all those little clan members riding behind you, and you go back to politics and religion, the two most oppressive.
Nope. No.
What happened? Oh wow, my screen just went up.
No, I think I was messing with something.
When you have two of the most oppressive systems and powers working in your front pocket, your back pocket, your coat pocket, your goddamn panty pocket, shit. When you got all the powers working in your pockets, you can do 78 executive orders. You can undo a bunch of shit and be like, I ain't worried about nothing. Because like I said a few seconds ago, it's that white money coming through. This is that. So dangerous, of course. Absolutely reckless, of course. I don't know if people expected it to be so blatant, right? But like,
yeah.
Why would you not? Like, but maybe that's the veil, right? That politics and religion and, the indoctrination of the traditional school system has got people thinking that you have to subscribe to these things or these these things, right? I agree with you. It's dangerous. I agree. I agree it's dangerous, but I think that they have. I don't think that he's even bitten off more than he can chew yet. I generally would agree with you that you're going to be stretched too fucking thin, but I think that they've had so much time to mastercraft plans from presidents before. So grudge holders, George W. Bush and then his daddy, right? Like, he just finished the job of his dad. Biden finishing the job of his governing years, right? Like, being able to finish the job as president. So hell yeah, anybody who thought that this dude might not have a grudge is crazy. This dude, swore
I'm not tripping off people having, but to openly speak on and act on grudges, I think that's dangerous, because grudges are connected with emotion.
Well, they show lack of discipline somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely agree.
And again, that's dangerous to hold, because it's also hard for you to be objective when you're holding grudges. So, for instance, you'll have there's certain things that one party knows, if we do this is in the best interest of the people as a whole, but they won't do it because the other party is the one who proposed it.
Right.
So, universal health care. Oh yeah, that's a good thing. But since the Democrats are the one who proposed and trying to put, no, we're not going to do it.
Stupid. Yeah. So what part about politics isn't grudge holding, isn't trying to stick it to the other one. Like, and then you've got Bernie out here saying, I told y'all.
I like Bernie.
I
was
did
ready to vote
too.
for Bernie.
I told you that's one of the last times I voted was for Bernie. And that was the one that told me that
weekend at Bernie's.
You know what? That might have been said weekend at Bernie's. You know what? That might have been what did the Democrats in. It's very possible because just off of what I saw and felt and experienced, I don't believe Hillary won that the primary election as far as being the nominee for the party.
No.
All the momentum was with Bernie, and I think they just gave it to her. And I think from that point, that was the slope downhill. Now the party was divided.
No, Bernie would have solved problems. He would have closed the income gap. Like he would have solved problems for the minority in America, whether you're a woman, whether you were black, whether you were gay, whether you were whatever. Like he definitely was trying to make sure everybody got a little bit of the pie, and they didn't want that. He wasn't going to.
He's a socialist.
He wasn't going to. Hillary was given the name Killary for a reason, and I know you laugh when I say that, but like,
I think you gave her that name. Who gave her that name?
She was a horrible, horrible woman, as was her husband. They're horrible people. So you couldn't have Bernie up there committing mass genocide and shit in other countries. Like Bernie was probably not willing to do that. They had to put Hillary up there to be able to continue this system of bullshit, which is, this presidential optical illusion, this power optical illusion.
So who named her Hillary? You saying that you didn't do that? You got that from somewhere?
No, she's been going by that since she was in office. I think it was.
That sounds like something you came up with.
No, God, no, I didn't. God, I wish I could take credit for that. No, I don't. I mean, there's so many different examples of.
Hold on. Did you come up with Hot Wheels?
No, I didn't come up with Hot Wheels, but that's so clever. I love Hot Wheels. No, I'm not that damn clever. No, I can't remember. I think Hillary was coined. I want to say it was something in Benghazi. She basically sent some American soldiers in and got them murked. And the cover up around it, and I mean they had dealings in Haiti and so many other countries where there was so much death around this lady. That's what a lot of people coined her as, was Hillary instead of Hillary Clinton. But then it applies to, like I said, her name is attached to so much nefarious things.
Let me ask something. Hold on, Kevin in the comments. Let me ask you, Kevin.
She's a pig.
I need to get a straight answer from somebody. Kevin, when you heard Trump say that they're eating the cats and dogs, how did you feel about that? What was do you think that's the presidential thing to say on the national stage during the presidential what you call presidential debate?
Inauguration.
No, not the inauguration, the debate. During the debate, he said they were eating cats and dogs.
My bad.
I need to.
Is Kevin gonna answer? Because I definitely want to answer that question. I love having that.
Oh yeah, you can answer it. I'm sure Kevin and he'll answer it in a second.
So when I first heard it, I believe it. A lot of people from other countries eat other animals. A lot of people from other countries eat cats, dogs, squirrels. Like they eat a lot of animals. So if you
all kind of disgusting stuff, man.
And it's only disgusting because we haven't normalized it. In a lot of other countries, eating a cow is fucking disgusting. Eating a pig is disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
Stuff. Drinking milk is disgusting. Our country's just normalized it for profit, whether it's medical or financial and or both, right? But a lot of other countries, it's normal to eat their fucking dogs. Like they eat dogs all the time.
Right. So Nikki,
when I heard it wasn't some shocking thing. You got a bunch of people who came in from other countries. Shit. Who don't stick a fishing pole in the creek sometimes? I mean, they stuck a fishing pole in the creek and it was a goddamn cat and dog. Now, unfortunately, coming from him, it's going to be used as a Saturday Night Live.
No, don't. The first of all, Nikki, you can't. Yes, they do that in other cultures, but in this country,
they got dropped off.
What's that?
But they got dropped off. They got dropped off. Like, boom, here you go, right in the middle of motherfucking Springfield, Ohio. We just gonna drop you off right here. I know you just got here from 97,000 miles of fucking walking that they said that you did all the way up through Texas. We picked you up and we just dropped you off right here in Springfield. You didn't walk to Springfield. We bust you up there, dropped your not a lick of English speaking ass off and said, have at it. Shit, I'm hungry. Fuck it. There's some dogs and some chickens and some ducks and cats and shit. I'm finna go.
I'm not tripping. I ain't tripping about the cats and dogs. What I'm saying is, we know in different cultures, they meat is meat, whatever.
Yeah.
But in this country, that's something that's frowned upon. So for you to make that statement is a very negative thing to say, especially in the absence of evidence. Now, the evidence that I'm talking about is, cat, dog come up missing. For you to say it was these Haitians that did it.
I don't say that. I'm saying I believe that people ate some animals I wouldn't generally put on my table.
No, he was talking about the Haitians.
Well, shit. I mean, to not target a certain person is one thing, but to say that isn't something that could be taking place is another.
We ain't talking about could. We're talking about you making a declaration of something happening on a presidential debate. That is not the platform for hearsay.
Well, he was trying
again unpresidential to engage in hearsay, number one, and number two, you're also profiling. How can I tell that a person, if I see somebody walking across the street, how can I tell that they're Haitian?
You can't.
That's profiling, and that, again, that is unbecoming of someone who's supposed to be the leader of a country that's filled with all different types of nationalities. That's all I'm saying. Let me see what Kevin got up here.
And I agree with you. However, if there is a video surfacing that he got a hold of some people, and I believe that there was, of ducks, of people who had video of, let's say, we'll say homeless camps, right? Because we can refer to the same things here. There are people who are definitely unhoused. They've got unhoused camps. So you've got areas of people who are absolutely foreign to the territory, do not speak the same language, have no job, have no house, have no car, have no clothes, have no money. And of course, they loaded up with them. They gave them those cards and shit. But nonetheless, if a person had a video of somebody doing that shit in the park and had it, like, I am not going to sit up here and say it didn't happen. Just like I'm not going to sit up here and say that they didn't fucking fake the election. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say those things because they're very plausible scenarios. Do I think that it was, reckless of him to say it in the aspect of profiling? Absolutely. But he's a fucking white supremacist, so he doesn't care about that part. But the aspect of people possibly eating animals that we wouldn't generally eat in a park setting, like, that's some real plausible stuff. I don't disagree with that. I don't. And his dumbass may have used that as the example to try to push his other MO. But if people were doing it,
that is completely inappropriate to say on a presidential debate. Number one. Number two, you're still being a racist in your profile, and let me tell you why.
He's a racist.
Even if it is happening, to use the term they is completely out of bounds, and that's wrong to do. For instance, whatever instance or situation that you gave about the homeless people in the city, I worked for many years. I worked with the homeless people. I actually ran two shelters or kind of halfway houses between people who were unhoused or either just getting out of prison. And we would go back. I used to witness. We would get food. We give supplies to people in different homeless camps. There used to be a camp off of Lamar and Runberg, right behind that HEB. It was a whole forest area there. It used to be like, we did a lot over there. And when you get to know people, you cannot use the word they. You can't lump all homeless people in together, even if there are some or a portion. Oh, you see what they're doing. And you know the people who eat that and be like, oh, you know what they doing. It's people who have no direct connection or relationship with that community because you don't know enough about the community to know the differences and like I say, we are not a monolith. All homeless people don't think and act like all homeless people ain't homeless for the same reasons, all of this. But when you don't know anyone, then someone can easily say, well, they are doing such and such. And then people will echo those sentiments and say, they doing that. Like, who is they?
I agree.
So all homeless, that's I can't explain it. And listen, I'm not someone who takes up for one side or the other. I'm saying I know what good representation looks like.
Sure.
And he's poor representation of someone who's supposed to be a leader of our country.
I'm not going to disagree.
And it ain't no way around that. I can argue both sides on everything that he does. There's several policies that I agree with, or general philosophies, even protecting borders, a lot of stuff that I agree in general principle with. But about him being a good representation of, no, he's not.
No, I agree with that.
And I wish at least those people who support him, at least say that.
That just goes to show you the lack of tact that those people, we don't want to use names, but we don't call them. It goes to show you what those people really is in their spirit, right? Because there are things that should obviously bother you if you are a good person. And if those things don't bother you, it has to make you question one's insides. Why doesn't that bother you?
Look, we 2/3 in already. Let me see if you want to talk about. We didn't even get to the Elon Musk part. Do you want to?
So do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Let's go. So let me set it up really quick. I'm still not fully over this. I'm over everything else, but this cough. I'm not fully over this cough, so I got to work.
Oh no!
And that's it ain't just me. It's a lot. Whatever that virus bug was going around, it lasts. That cough lasts for a while.
I was talking to a girlfriend last night out at Spinners, and she was like, "I've had this shit for like 3 or 4 weeks." She's like, and it's not testing for anything. She's like, but it will not go away. She's like, and it's everything: head, stomach, body, face. Congestion,
but they wasn't gonna tell you that because they ain't shutting down the economy again. You can forget that. So we're gonna work through it this time. So anyway, on a little short group thread, me, Nikki, Denice. See, Nikki, she's outraged in so many words, and
outraged for what?
And you saw what I'd already saw.
Yeah.
And so basically they thought there was a lot of commotion going on about a potential Elon Musk doing like the Nazi salute. And I'm not one of those people who just jump to conclusions if I like or don't like someone. I prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt until the evidence overwhelms me to the point that I can't take up for it anymore.
Okay.
That's the way I like to, especially if I'm already leaning one way. I'm like, let the evidence do it for me to where I'm like, yeah, I can't even give a account for that.
Okay.
What? So how did you hear about this, Nikki? First, let me ask you.
Social media, of course.
Okay, they start showing it on social media.
Absolutely.
Now, so hold on, did you see the video first, or did somebody just have a picture showing it?
No, I saw a video of the video, right? So I saw somebody share the video of it happening.
So what did you think when you initially saw the video?
Huh?
What did you think when you initially saw that video? You was like,
well, my first thought was, you gotta be fucking kidding. Hold on, let me go watch this somewhere else.
Right, like did you feel like you needed full context? Like, this can't be right.
I mean, context alone, but I just need to see the visual of this, because today I don't believe anything that I see online, right? The conspiracy,
right? Yeah, it could be AI. Yeah,
unless I see it. Like, so I don't believe your pictures. People send me UFO shit all the time. I'm like, don't even stop sending me shit, because I'm gonna go look it up first, but I'm never, ever, 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 ever gonna believe a picture or video that I see just right offhand. So I was like, and because it was so preposterous in my mind, I was like, there's no way that this actually happened. So let me go look this up in a couple sources to see, confirm, and then listen to the beginning, or like the before and the after of this video. Not that I needed context at that point, because I saw what I saw, but let me just go do a favor to the free thinking modality and see what had happened. And every video was the same. And so by like the second time I watched it, I literally had typed, I don't remember what conversation I was in, but I was like, if Say It Was Your Chest was a fucking real person, like, he very much said it with his chest. So that was my immediate responses the first time that I saw the video of it shared on Instagram. I wasn't watching television, and it wasn't on, like, live news. It came through like, I think like 32 minutes or 23 minutes. It was one of those two numbers. It came through like that far or that long after it was live done. And I was like, OMG. And then from that point forward, social media was just like, that did not just happen. And then I started hitting y'all up right away. I was like, are you seeing this? And I know that you don't plug in a whole lot. And I knew Denice is on vacation. And I was like, y'all gotta watch this shit, because this is literally like an extension to what we had just talked about the week before with freedom of speech and Zuckerberg and all these restrictions and just, these 2025 predictions.
You know what's crazy? He's not even American.
Not even American.
Like, why do he have citizenship here? What? Like,
I mean, but that's a part of it, though, right? They called him apartheid Clyde. Like, he's still benefiting from
apartheid Clyde. Yeah,
y'all doing too much. That's what they call him. And so he's doing over here what he did over there, like, and he just got linked up with the right group of people to be able to make shit happen the way that he wants it to happen. And he literally sat up there on national television. I think I can't remember how many different hundreds of reporters from different countries they said were there broadcasting this inauguration speech, and this fool does a double hail, like twice, like 2 times. Made sure that you got it. Like,
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
But back to your statement. So is this,
Kevin, do you think that was a Nazi hail? Give me a response on that. I need to know. Go ahead. What are you saying, Nikki?
I want to know, like, you just started this, like, you prefaced this. You said, I basically try to give the benefit of the doubt until you just can't give me the benefit of the doubt anymore.
I'm trying to figure it out.
So is that where you are with this?
Yeah, right now I'm trying to. So I saw because when I initially saw it, it looked a little weird. It ain't, and trust me, I watch World War II constantly. So the old school war, it wasn't exactly the Hitler one, but when I'd seen one where they put it side by side with a group of people who
definitely
do it in today's day, and it was
identical.
I was like,
identical.
So then I'm like, what is your motive? Like, as somebody who's worth $400 billion, why do you feel the need to align with any other group or any, like, now I'm confused about, like, you don't need anybody to do your bidding. Your wealth by itself can do all the bidding that you need. You don't need other allied groups to help support you. I'm just trying to figure out what the motive is now. That's the weird part. I don't get that.
Now it's about control. I have the money. Now I have the control. And now I get to ignite all the little sleepers, and we all get to operate as one fucking system. Like, it's literally control. Population control. 2030, plan 2030. Like, there's so many different agendas. I mean, he just got done telling us that by 2040, I think it was, there will be more robots in our homes than humans.
Oh yeah.
Planet. So like, he knows that this is just, do you imagine how much he could accomplish in 4 years if Trump stays up there? How much nefarious things he could
Well,
accomplish.
that's what I don't think it ain't gonna just be 4 years. That's all I can tell you.
I
It's
don't
gonna
think it's
be
going to
till
even
he.
be 4 years, but that's 2 weeks
I
conversation.
don't know. It could, yeah, I don't. It could be a year. It could be 10. I think it's gonna be as long as he's alive. He not just leaving out. I don't know why people think that he gonna leave out. He's not leaving.
I'm just saying I don't think it's going to last for 4 years, but I don't think he's going to leave, and I don't think it's going to be peaceful.
So Kevin said, he said no, he don't think that, but his wife said yeah, and basically, she think Kevin being delusional. She or he, I'm paraphrasing. She think Kevin, he got rose-colored glasses on, and he taking up for everybody else. So what was the other? Here was one more question I wanted to ask Kevin. What was you just saying? Oh, I got a question, and it's Kevin, I want to get a whole group of Trump supporters on here. What if Trump is not willing to leave at the end of his 4 years? How will you feel about that? That's a question because this is the thing that where I have questions about, because even if we talk about make America again and being patriotic, you can't allow people to step on the Constitution and the laws and the things that we've put in place for checks and balances just because you like someone. Then our democracy and the way that we run things should supersede your affinity for an individual. That's why this is what I knew. When them people stormed the White House and y'all still elected that man back in office again, I'm like, there's literally nothing he can do that y'all just won't rock with. Jesus, Kanye West, and Donald Trump, they can do no wrong in their supporters' eyes. But anyway, yes, that's my question, Kevin. Sorry. Are you gonna be okay if he say no, I'm not leaving, I'm staying in office? Will you have an issue with that? What are you saying, Nikki?
Well, one of the notes that I was making while you were talking was that one, we're not a democracy. I mean, I know that that's what they like to tell us, right? But we're almost not. We're not a democracy. And then two, the rules don't apply to that group of people, so they can disregard them, and they can disregard them because the rules don't apply. There are a certain group of people in this country and probably across the entire planet, realistically, that for the most part, the rules never apply to them. So being able to break all of them and disregard them and act as though I shouldn't be punished if I break them and have, people who support their mentality because the rules also don't apply to them, so they just can't understand how this could possibly happen. This is so wrong. Like, that just goes to show you how delusional, like, white privilege and white denial and white fragility really, 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 really is. And white supremacy in this country, we go back to politics and religion. Like, it goes back to the suppression aspect. That just goes to show you that that's how these people really fundamentally think. They truly think that. And that's where the danger lies. And now they just have a mouthpiece. They have a couple mouthpieces. But we knew this. We knew this. Even if I don't believe that the voting system work, or that the voting system is like an authentic process. Even if I don't believe that the voting system even actually counts each person's tally mark, right? I still believe that having the mouthpiece, having the representative be a racist, disgusting, vile person was a bad move to begin with. But this is who they wanted us to have. This is what they gave us. They gave us Dumb and Dumber. And it isn't even like it isn't even like we really had a choice. They were to us anyway. It's just how people feed into this bullshit and attach themselves to these systems that then becomes dangerous.
Dumber, and dumbest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you want to throw anything in there before I jump on something else?
Rules do not apply to a lot of these people.
No, not really. I don't have much to say because I don't know much about what Elon Musk has done in regards to what you guys are alluding to. But I did hear. I
Yeah.
didn't watch, but I did hear Trump's inauguration speech as far as what he plans to do once he was sworn in office. He said some really good stuff, but
Okay.
um, one of the things that I'm looking to see, which no president hasn't done, is to follow through with what he says. You alluded to, if you just hit the ground running trying to get all of them done at one time, you're gonna burn yourself out. So you got to stretch it out. But I know that once he gets into his presidency, other type of stuff is going to come up to where it's going to kind of like be put on the back burner per se. And I was also having an epiphany in regards to like, okay, if he's sworn in office and he's doing all these executive orders and emergency calls and whatnot as far as sending troops in the border, and he talking about he's gonna do, those things, at least, do that on the first 2 or 3 days of like, as far as getting these executive orders signed, like just hit, burn yourself out for at least 2 or 3 days and then, stretch the rest out over the course of the first year or so, whatever, just to like get half of it out the way. That's just, that's just an epiphany I had as far as like, okay, you're getting sworn in the office, you're hitting the presidency, say you're gonna do all these things, hit those one that has top priority as far as the border or stuff like that he was mentioning. But for the most part, I'm not so optimistic when I hear President speak of them promises to do this or that and the third, and those promises never get met. What in regards to the speech, that folks said that he was taking shots at Biden and Kamala is you mentioned something about him holding a grudge over 4 years ago. So I think he's trying to undo and redo what they've done over the past 4 years that he was in term as far as certain things. Oh yeah, he did mention something about inflation as far as like bringing those prices down in his speech, which I think a lot of people's going to be cool with that. But in essence, I'm just waiting to see if he's going to follow through on what he says. But more times than not, they don't. So it's whatever to me though. But that's my thoughts on it though.
Let me ask you. I want to ask a question. What you think about Snoop Dogg?
Oh man.
Is that to the panel?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me back up really quickly. I just want to update. I just want to be able to finish the kind of the story or just where we were talking about with the whole the Elon thing, right?
Right.
Because where
Uh-huh.
my obvious issue with this is I do believe that he certainly hailed America, right? He absolutely gave the Nazi salute twice. I absolutely have
What
no
else would he be doing? And then what other time did you see?
They literally, like I sent you. I don't know if you saw.
What other time did you see him doing that? And who else in America has done that for you to be like, oh, that's a really cool thing?
Okay, so let me also clarify that too, because there's a video going, or there's not a video. There's a picture going around of Kamala, Obama, Hillary, and Elon all doing it, but the other three apparently, and I haven't seen them. I've read a lot of comments. The other three are in scenarios where people were waving to a crowd. And then but of course, then it looks like Elon's as well. But when you watch Elon's, he clearly wasn't waving. So there's a very real possibility that the other three pictures were of past presidents who were waving to a crowd. So just to clarify that, because someone's going to say, oh, no, Q, you're wrong. There were presidents. There were people that did that. Yeah, okay, well, that's all contextual as well. However,
right.
With him having done that, I've just been waiting for the powers that be, right? The JEUZ people to say something. I've been waiting for them to castrate him and to drag him out into the street and have their pitchforks ready, right? Just like they did with Kanye, and just like they did with Kyrie, and just like they have with any other, especially melanated individual who has said anything that might have a little tiny piece of fractional flake of fucking anti-Semitism. How they immediately stop their money flow, they cancel them, they block them, they call them anti-Semitic, and they're ruined for fucking ever. This dude went on national television, international television, the presidential inauguration, hailed like not like a Nazi Hitler 2 times, and by tonight's show, the ADL had finally put out a statement, a response to this. The Anti-Defamation League, they put out a statement saying that essentially it was misunderstood. It says, this is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are...
Oh, shut that up.
No, listen, you guys. So we talking about words. You have to listen to the words that they say. And I posted this in Freethinkers. This is a delicate moment. It's a new day, yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute. But again, we appreciate that people are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of the doubt, and take a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity in the months and years ahead. This is the fucking Anti-Defamation League, the same people that skinned Kanye and Kyrie. And regardless of whether you think that Kanye or Kyrie said or did anything anti-Semitic, they didn't by definition of a Semite. So if you really go back into the definition of things for clarification and accuracy.
But Kyrie didn't even say anything. Kyrie just said, check out this video.
By sharing the book that he had apparently read. So because he shared the book, I mean, they didn't go after Amazon. They went after fucking Kyrie. Kyrie bought the book off Amazon. Amazon sold it.
Right. I remember that.
I think he lost his shoe fucking deal. Like, you know, so it's like,
oh
yeah. They crucified him in the media.
That part.
Yeah, yes, they did.
And we already know. So obviously, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, you know, black people are never, ever, ever fucking treated the same way as white people, and nobody's ever treated the same way as white people for that matter. But certainly not black people. But like for them to first of all had nothing to say for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, like a day, to then tonight come out with this as their response, and then kind of like sort of half-ass blame social media for it. Like, no, it's really social media is making it bigger than it is. Everybody's just inflamed right now. What? So dude gets to get away doing a Nazi on stage and nobody fucking cares. Major problem. Major fucking problem. You have to expect the absolute worst.
It's like I'm trying to see when they gave that grace to anybody else.
When have they ever given that grace to anybody else?
As far as scolding them on the public eye for doing something egregious or they think is egregious, when is the last time that happened? Is that what you're referring to?
Just anything that is looked at as
or frowned upon.
Well, anti-Semitic. I would think it's pretty anti-Semitic if you throw the Nazi hail up there, right? Like, that's not confusing.
Well, good point. Good point.
That's
and there's it
probably makes sense. They feel like they just came into the Third Reich.
There was no outrage about that. That's interesting.
There's been zero outrage. The only people that are outraged are like people who are smart, who are like, wait a minute. Adidas. Adidas shut Kanye down. Like, I mean, think about how many deals Kanye lost during that time of just saying actual truths. He wasn't saying things that were not untrue. He just was exposing people.
Man,
and then
So Nikki, you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I clear?
Yeah.
So your thing is,
you ain't never clear, but we can hear you.
Okay, whatever. So your thing is, if they're gonna have this energy for Kyrie, keep that same energy for Elon Musk if he's gonna throw this proverbial anti-Semitic type of gesture up, which Nazi does have a history with that. Um, yeah, is that like what you're alluding to in regards to Kyrie getting the heat versus Elon Musk not getting the heat for the anti-Semitic remarks or gestures and things like
Just
that?
that works, obviously.
Yeah.
You could be a little bit gray in your maybe there's some misunderstanding if you don't know where, so let's say Kyrie or Kanye were coming from at that time, and that when that conversation when that was taking place. But there's no misunderstanding what he just did. People are like, "Oh yeah, well the Romans." They're like, "Well, when he's
So
not a fucking."
I'm just watching it. I'm watching it right now again, and I'm trying to figure out like
You
what
watching what?
else could that be? The Elon Musk doing. And I'm like,
That's a Hitler. That the soldiers used to do that when they salute their fellow officer or superior officer, and they would say "Hi Hitler."
Yeah, no, we know.
Yeah, we know that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What else could it be besides that?
No, you did the gesture. He did this, and then like this. So normally they would just do straight like that and click their heels together. But you just doing that is kind of like a semi Hi Hitler sign
That's
or
exactly
gesture.
That's
And
exactly.
then so this is the conclusion. He too damn smart not to know what he's doing.
Oh, he know what he's doing.
Like especially
He's
on a
educated.
political stage, and you being
He got
who
money.
you
He
are,
know what
and you
he's
know
doing.
how everything that you do and say moves the needle in some form or fashion. It's hard for me to believe that he didn't know. And it's so, and that's the part where they make it just ambiguous enough. So then he was like, after he did that 3 times, my heart goes out to you, and they're like, no, that ain't what you was doing. Cut that out, man. That's.
You know what I think? Never mind. I forgot my thought. Go
Let me
ahead.
say something real quick though, because Kevin put something here. Said, "Bottom dollar has no color."
And what does he mean by that?
So, just money talks. Like anything that's connected. I'm not sure because it was earlier in the conversation, but
I said
when
white
they
money.
talk about money, ain't got no color. It's about green. It ain't about black or white. And then, especially when you talk about billionaires, Trump, successful people, then all they see is green. You hear that statement as well.
Right, but that money
But
works one
let
way.
me say, yeah, when I say bottom dollar has no color, it's kind of right, but it ain't at the same. In theory, yes, but you also understand that the type of color that you're able to surround yourself with affects your bottom dollar. So what I mean by that is, if the white power structure can make sure money stays in white pockets, it makes it easier for them to transact, do business, and maintain their bottom dollar versus power. And then we go all the way back to the birthing stuff right here, which that's also something that he's trying to get rid of, the natural birther thing. 18, 20 years from now, when all of these the children of illegal immigrants are American citizens and they're able to vote, and they start voting their color and their kind in the office, it makes it harder for them to do business as usual when you have to interact with different cultures, and their preference would be to keep their money within their race so that they can maintain their power structure. So just to say the bottom dollar has no color,
keep the bottom dollar in house or something.
It's true, but not exactly. There's benefits. The color, there's benefits of it holding that bottom dollar. That's all.
I'm glad you said that. I'm very glad that you said that, because it's absolutely 100%. It's who holds the power because of the money. 100%. Agree.
Okay.
But
so Snoop Dogg. Let's go Snoop Dogg.
Back to what you said though. He knew.
Snoop Bill Devil Chisel, my nizzle, cat pizzle. Yeah.
Well, okay. And so about so we go. All right. So we done with Elon for right now.
I guess somebody freethinkers
said it looks like you're not.
Good. We can go on to Snoop, because that's.
It looks like you're not done with Elon Musk. You look like you want to go some more.
I'm typing updates. Just let me know.
Another free
I
thinker
like
said
that note
ditto.
taking. I love that. That's
So
what's up.
Snoop. Did you has your feelings about this changed at all over the last couple days?
No,
Okay.
I realized midway through last year that the feelings of the country has changed.
Okay.
I've seen black people, not even celebrities, not even Kanye, openly in my timeline wear MAGA hats and be open. Like I said, I've seen a lot of open Trump supporters that you did not see the first go around. So just the mindset of what he's doing and it's all changed.
Okay.
So, but the thing that confused me a little bit, if you openly oppose someone, you need to get some clarity just before you just jump out and start doing, like, you need to. So for instance, whether I agree with DL Hughley or not, he gave his initial stance like, hey, I said a whole lot of things about Kamala and now I got to look at her policies and I talked to her and now I've changed my mind, so now I'm supporting her. Okay, you know, give us a breakdown first, because we do remember the stuff that you said back before then. And everything that Snoop said back before then, you need to give an explanation of your epiphany or realization before you just jump out and now you rocking. That's a weird look.
So do you have a problem? Do you find more of a problem with him having done it than if he would have declined?
I have a problem with the lack of explanation.
Okay. But
And if you wanted to, like, all right, say you rocking with them, let us know where you stand first, just before you jump out there and you got a gig and now you just there. Like, if you have followers and supporters who also support you monetarily and they've supported you by buying your albums, I think a little explanation is in order.
Okay. I've seen a lot of things. Well, do you have any thoughts first?
Are we talking about in regards to Snoop Dogg's performance?
Yeah, performing.
Well, check this out. I haven't really watched the inauguration to be completely honest, but I do keep my ears to the streets as far as those who have seen it and whatnot. Um, and somebody brought up Snoop Dogg made a meme, I think about 4 years ago, in regards to what coon are they going to have performing at the inauguration, and sure enough, he was the coon performing at the inauguration. So I guess he has some reservations in regards to who they choose to perform at the inauguration, or I think it was at the ball or whatever the case may be. Um, but in essence, in hindsight, when somebody is trying to be pro, black or whatever, as far as like for the people and in the public eye, or quote unquote speaks for the people. Nowadays, I would say don't take their word for it, because they just shooting out BS. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have somebody that's saying something like 4 years ago, and people is riding with you and rocking with you and whatnot, then years later you looking like a jackass, performing after you didn't say it this 4 years ago. Yeah, we're gonna look at you kind of different, my guy. So you know, somebody somebody also said they must got something on Snoop, because people wasn't really feeling, Snoop performing at the inauguration, and
It was
they
weird anyway,
probably
because he
do.
was his own DJ on
Yeah,
top of that. It was strange.
yeah.
And all them
Um,
stiff neck tuxedo wearing people, like, it didn't even go together.
yeah, it just didn't mix. So
It
somebody
was
saying
weird.
they must got some dirt on Snoop to have him perform like that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it and whatnot. I mean, you just can't really take these public figures' word for it, especially those that's rocking with the community or say they for the community. But then at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah. Kevin said, "What if you did it on accident, Q, and you were white?" So the thing is, especially,
What did
there's
it
certain things from a culture that you won't do
right?
because you like. Okay, so for instance, even Elon Musk, South African. And we all know that most of those South Africans usually are the white South Africans are from some type of German or European descent. A lot of them end up going to South Africa because they fled after their parents were war criminals from Germany, trying to get away after everything fell down. So they know what that is, and they know what it could resemble. So all I'm saying is, there's certain things that you don't even make a mistake doing. Like I'm not gonna make a mistake and start twerking.
Oh, did you freeze up on us? Is it 9:30? He always freezes up at 9:30.
Yeah,
Let's see what
yeah.
happens.
It's
He
10
does.
o'clock though. He about to.
There's always a
Oh
window where
man.
shit will freeze up.
Oh
Damn.
my goodness.
Because I don't want to start talking and then him jump back on.
Yeah. Well, give him a minute. Give him a minute or two.
I am. And one thing I did read that, some people were like, and maybe there is a distinction between, maybe there isn't a distinction. Obviously, everybody feels differently about it. But one of the things that I had seen get posted was that he didn't perform at the inauguration, but he performed at this crypto event that was following the inauguration for Trump. And people were trying to be like, well, it wasn't really it wasn't like he didn't perform for him, but it's like, okay, well,
Do
he
you
did.
believe the hype though?
That
Well, I know you
particular,
don't. Yeah.
what do
As
you
far as
mean?
that,
Huh.
as far as them
And
performing, that's some.
no, he still threw his name behind him, in my opinion. When you get in a car with somebody who commits a crime, they can charge you
Right.
as an accessory, right? You're complicit, you're an accessory. So whether you were or you weren't, whether you knew or you didn't, it doesn't matter. You are considered an accessory. So if you go and perform as an entertainer for somebody who is whoever they are, you've thrown your name behind them. Somehow in there, you
Right.
supported them. Hey, I align with something enough to where I will give you what is my celebrity. I will give you what is my gift.
Yeah.
So, and then people try to say, oh, well, Snoop is real big in crypto and it's chess, not checkers. And I get that too. I mean, I'm trying to look at it objectively. But to Q's point, he said that over the last year and a half, he's seen people's mindsets also soften or change, wearing MAGA hats, right, as a person of color. And it was like, whoa, holy shit, So not to say that Snoop can't change his mind, not to say that Snoop can't say, hey, look, yeah, I know I said all the things that I said 4 years ago and absolutely ostracize anybody who may be actually supporting this guy. I've
Right.
changed my mind. I'm going to involve myself in such and such. I'm going to play my music. Kevin said shame ritual. And I believe that there's a dress ritual. I believe that some of that is very plausible. I believe that maybe they have something on him. I don't think that they need Snoop for shit, but for whatever
Nah,
reason.
not really.
But for whatever reason, though. But you got to think who Snoop generally speaks for, right? So
Right.
if they can get Snoop, who is the voice of this population, this demographic of people, if we can get him to get out here and normalize,
Yeah, we can get
whatever
support of his followers.
then maybe more people will follow Snoop, right? But it feels like there is a lot of kickback. I've been on a couple different message boards today
Yeah.
of people who have posted about that, and a lot of people are like, "Nah, fuck
They not
that."
feeling it. They
A
not
lot
feeling it.
are canceling Snoop right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know
Like Snoop, what you doing?
and I don't know what that looks like later. I don't know how, I don't know what that's going to look like, because at the end of the day, I read a comment, somebody said, because Snoop was like, basically, fuck y'all. But somebody was like, yeah,
Pretty
but
much.
he can say that now. He can say that now. We've already made him the millions and billions that he's made off of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've already made
Mm-hmm.
him the celebrity in which he is. So yeah, he can say that now. But would you have said that, 20 years ago, when you were
Nah.
and you needed us to buy your albums and your tapes,
Yep.
your
Yep.
concerts, watch your movies, and buy
Yep.
your books? Um,
Yep.
so, but Nelly said the same thing. Soldier Boy said the same. I think it was Soldier Boy said the same thing. They were like, Kamala ain't paying me shit. Nobody else asked me to perform for them. Like, I have bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Nelly
Straight like that.
Nelly either did or was supposed to. Snoop did. And then there was somebody else that was and the Soldier Boy as well. So,
Maybe he could have done that as a favor to somebody. Maybe.
well, and somebody, I think Smack had posted that Trump had pardoned, I think, one of Snoop's people back the first go round. So like maybe this was a
Mhm.
hey, you fucking owe me type thing. I don't know.
Maybe. I ain't putting nothing past it though.
No,
Yeah.
you have to question what the ulterior motive is, because there's always going to be an ulterior motive, I feel like.
Exactly. 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 So,
And that's exceptionally
you
fucking
know,
rude. So are you team cancel? Are you team Are you like, I'm not invested in it? How what do you think?
as far as the Snoop thing,
Yeah.
no, I'm not invested in it at all. You know,
What do you think?
as far as like how he was back then and who he was back then, I supported that. But where he's transitioning now, and I get it. As far as like his level of evolution, because Snoop is a grandfather right now, so you know, he's doing things that's a lot more in a positive light, and he's been doing that for years. As far as like youth programs in the inner city, helping kids to you know, get out of the hood and, reach their potential to that level. So, he just, I think at this point, he's just doing that grandpa stuff. I mean, you probably, I say 20 years ago, you probably wouldn't see Snoop at the inauguration performing like that, or 10 years ago, um, performing at the inauguration. But it's kind of like the elephant in the room, the way folks is making it seem, him being there, and it's kind of being like, you kind of out of place, man. Like that's not your crowd, that's not your atmosphere, so what you doing there? But there has to be an ulterior motive behind that, as far as him doing it for whatever reason that he's doing it. Somebody may have something on him, or it could be a favor. But I'll say to your point that you made earlier, 20 years ago, I don't think I would see Snoop at the performing at the inauguration as opposed to today, which he's in a different place right now. In my personal opinion, as far as why he's performing and doing stuff that's a little bit more, I would say, PG as opposed to rated R or rated X or whatever.
I just want an explanation. I think an explanation is in order.
You
Plain and
think so?
simple.
Ooh,
If you made a
for
stance,
him? Oh,
yes, if you made a public stance and you gave approval or disapproval, and there's anybody who followed
Right.
what you stood for, you owe an explanation. Even to like one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of cussing on this particular platform, even though we get in person, that's a different story. But
good point.
just for
Hmm.
instance, Blue and I went all over the city doing gospel rap
Right.
for many, many years. There's still people I run into to this day. I don't know who they are,
Right.
but they'll come to me and be like, "Oh, Holy Soldiers, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they've given me stories about how I and Blue and other people have influenced them and that play a part in where they are today. So without me giving any explanation or context, I'm not just jumping out like, wow, this is who I am now. Like I still owe it. And some people may not feel this way, but I feel like I still represent them on some level. So I feel the need to show a certain level of decency even in my speech, because that's how a lot of people were introduced to me.
Right.
And for instance, let's go even further. That's one of the ways Selah was introduced to me. Had I not been doing that, then I wouldn't have met Selah. Had I not met Selah, I wouldn't be doing Freethinkers.
Right.
So you have to show respect to, even in a wide way, those people help connect me to certain people that have me where I am right now. I want to show respect to that. So what I'm saying about Snoop Dogg, there's stances that you've taken that have people who may have been on the fence, but then after they heard you say a thing a certain way, they're like, yeah, you know what? That's right. You at least know an explanation. So it could be as simple as, yeah, you know what? He helped get a few of my homeboys out of jail. I don't know all about the politics, everything, but he helped get some of my people out. So I do favors and I rock with him for that. Okay, enough said. Like once we found out that he was, he did some stuff with Lil Wayne's record and he got Kodak Black, I'm not knocking them for rocking with Trump. If you helped save my freedom when I was in jail or going to jail, yeah, okay. I don't know all of what he doing, but he helped get me out. Like, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but the explanation, I think, will suffice. Like, all right, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Well, and he gave a response. I'm trying to pull up what his response was, because it was very, to me, it was like, fuck you, basically. And like I was saying to you, Hukanon, like, okay, you can say that now, but we've already made you the money that you have. Like, we're the reason why you are where you are. Like, you know, as fans, your fans are who got you there, right? So, like, I do agree with you, because it wasn't like it was just a, you know, in the middle kind of opinion that he had given 4 years ago or whatever it was, but it was four or more years ago.
It was a strong statement. He has strong statements.
I mean, he calls you every COON and every, you know, that you could possibly be called if you even remotely look like you might have supported this dude. So, I mean, he dog walked you morally if you stood behind this guy. It wasn't just like, oh man, I think this guy's a piece of shit. It was like, nah, he let you know, like, you ain't nothing on this planet, you know, if you are putting your support behind him. And like I was saying to you, Hukanon, even though he may not have even voted for this dude, right? Like, we don't know. We have no fucking clue. Just the fact that you got in the same room and got behind him and let him put his name on some shit, that's guilt by association for me. Like, you know, but then you know, there's been things that have been said, you know, they're like, well, what do you know, why are people mad now? Like, think of all the things that he has contributed to the degradation of Black women and the degradation of Black community and the degradation of, you know, just Black people over the last 20, 30 years, of the music that he made and the lyrics that he used and the words that he spoke, and, you know, literally how he spoke about women and what the quality of a woman was for, right? Like, so people are having these conversations of kind of like the fake outrage thing, which is good because we need to have that conversation for sure. But I don't feel like there's any way that you can kind of talk yourself back from that. I don't think he can talk himself back from this. I don't know what
you don't want to get diddy.
Huh?
I said you don't want to get diddy. You don't get the public on your bad side.
Look, now people are coming out saying Tupac was right. Like, now we really seeing what, you know, like, so it's just very interesting to, I don't know. I don't care. I heard the response from Soulja Boy and Nelly and somebody else that basically like, hey, I have bills to pay. I get it.
I have a question.
Okay.
Since Trump is now in office and we've run its course a while, do you think cancel culture will fade away now because of the newfound freedom of speech that we're supposed to be experiencing? Do you think that the cancel culture itself will get dumbed down? Because I ain't gonna lie, that cancel culture, that definitely smells like a Democrat thing.
Do I think? I don't know. I think that cancel culture will probably stay a move that people are going to try to make. I don't know if maybe it will affect people the same way it does, because
Ooh,
the ability
say,
to socially cancel people is a little bit more challenged now. But I don't think cancel culture is ever going to go away. Someone's always going to get their fucking feelings hurt.
I think it's going to fade significantly, and
You
this is
think
why.
so?
Yes, this I believe. It takes one person to flick the lighter, but it takes the media to keep the flame going.
Right.
And one thing that I can tell you right now, this is what I noticed Monday, because immediately after he does his inauguration speech, I do two things. I'll go to MSNBC for a couple minutes to hear their take on it. I go to Fox News to hear their take on it because they got totally different spin. I go to CNN. Right. I want, and that's me as the free thing. I want to hear all sides and all angles of propaganda. I want like, how they gonna spin this? How they spin it?
Because it's gonna get spun. They all gonna put their own twist on it.
But this was my first observation going to MSNBC. I said, "Oh my God, these people are scared now." Like if you watch the bravado and the brashness that in how they would speak concerning Donald Trump before the election and all during, and they talked down on him, they talked bad, they made jokes, they did all of this stuff, and they didn't even acknowledge him as, a former president. Like it was total disrespect.
Right.
Now that he's in office, they tiptoeing, because they like, if I say the wrong thing, they can get some goons on me to dig up some dirt. And like I could see and feel and hear them tiptoeing around stuff because he in office now.
Right.
And he holds grudges.
Right.
And you start saying some stuff, man, like I saw it. Like that was one of my first observations. I said, they scared to even just come out and say even with the Elon Musk thing, it was like, well, we go back to this video right here. There's a lot of people commenting on this, and we'll just show it to you. I mean, it may remind you of something that you've seen back in the past, and you take it for what it is. Like they wasn't even gonna come out and say anything direct. They was like, everything was tiptoeing, and I'm like, even Rachel Maddow and a lot of people, I'm like, they scared. So anyway, my point is, if they don't feel like they can swell their chest up and speak about these issues with bravado, because it's already been spoken, a change is about to come. We back down to 2 genders. We opening up speech. All this trans stuff is out the door. All that, like, so now they like, I'm gonna end up getting squeezed out if I keep pushing the agenda the way that I used to now. They feel the pressure. Anyway, with that, what I was saying is, the whole cancel culture, I don't feel that there will be, because I think it's highly a Democratic push, but I don't think they're going to feel comfortable even covering these stories the same way that they used to, like how they used to. But anyway, what were you saying?
Well, I'm taking in what you're saying, and that's interesting because I mean, when you mention it like that, I could definitely see people being scared for sure. Like, I mean, he signed, I think, 78 or 80 something executive orders today, and it was like the 3 people. They're like, he picked out 3 people from previous administration on different like boards, and he's like, y'all are fired. I mean. So I guess I still don't think the cancel culture is going to go away. Reduced, I don't know, but I can definitely see people being fearful. Like, to hell with whistleblower act, to hell with like employee protections, to hell with like. I mean,
Hey,
Damn.
no, go ahead, finish your thought.
No,
Nikki.
that's but I still think that people will actively participate in cancel culture because emotions get involved. I did read earlier today, and I wish I would have. I feel like maybe I screenshotted the information. I don't think that I shared it. But it was somebody building a new social media platform or something. And I know that people always talk about building new social media platforms, but and there are many that are already out there, but none of them just hit all the marks. And this is supposed to be the alternative, because if Zuckerberg and Elon and Trump and all of them are back in fucking bed together, then we're definitely going to have very levied information or access
Right.
to information. We have to have another outlet of some sort, or just another unbiased something, because all I saw today on the Elon Hale posts were how CNN is fake news, and yeah, mainstream news is bullshit. Okay, fine, I agree, right? But it's come on.
No, so that's the dangerous part, and that's what when we were breaking down that whole Zuckerberg speech, the one thing that stood out to me when he talked about we're going to pull back on these restrictions. So it's so y'all could have did it a long time ago, but y'all chose not to.
Right.
And you actually knew that they were wrongfully putting people in Facebook jail, and the fact you already knew that stuff was kind of off, but you didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm looking at is the power and ability. It wasn't like your hands was tied; you had the ability. That was your choice. So in a likewise manner now, it concerns me as how do we know what you won't choose to do now? How do we know what you how do we know that you won't censor us on the opposite side now?
That part.
And anything that has any type of liberal conversation or talk of equality or gender rights, how do we know that that's not going to get shadow banned? My guess is it probably will. Because your president, he's a master of propaganda, and he don't care about nothing being fair or equal or right. You're no.
I want to get back to the fear factor that you guys are talking about. That seems to be surrounding Trump now that he's in office. Because I spend a lot of time on the social media platform Clubhouse, and there are discussions about the Trump as far as who he is, and him now having his second term and possibly going for a third term. As far as him following through on something, and somebody had mentioned something about, he was saying something to the leader that freed those hostages. I think it was in Israel or something like that. That you better free them before I get in the office. So it was just jokes being made around as far as certain world leaders don't want no smoke with Trump because if he say something, he gonna follow through with it. And that's just I think that's one of the side that a lot of people like, as far as that gangster side. He gonna really send his goons, if you will, if you say something out of the side of your neck, out of whack. And we got to remember who Trump is. Before he came into office, he has no previous political type of experience. He's a businessman, real estate. So he's coming with sort of that type of mentality. He's not coming with that political side of mentality. Like if you cross me, you gonna be dealt with, type of thing. So for these folks to say one thing behind his back, but now it's face to face, you switched up your tone. I think they know the reputation of Trump as far as how he would get down if you came at him, the wrong way or cross-eyed with it. But it's interesting that you guys say that, because it made me think of that as far as the proverbial gangster side of Donald Trump and him following through on, let's say if he make a threat or something, he's going to follow through with it, but it's going to be under wraps. It ain't going to be to where the fingers are pointed at him. let's also not forget to mention the fact that we also have a felon in the presidency, like somebody that got off.
So you know what would be dope? What I would
That's in the presidency. Like, that's
what
crazy.
I would appreciate if he passed law and made all felons eligible to vote. That would be dope.
I was telling my friend earlier today that he should have taken it off of job application criteria straight up. Like that needs to be removed. Unless you have a sexual offense where you are literally a threat to fucking society, any other offense outside of a sexual offense, it needs to go on ahead and be waived from a person's criminal file when it comes to employment. Like that literally should have been something he did
agree.
today with them 78, 90, whatever.
If you could be a felon and the president of the United States, then can't you?
Yeah.
You should be able to do anything.
Man. Should have, and I'm quite sure he fucking didn't. Because in his mind, he's not a felon. It doesn't matter. He could be a 99-time felon. He's always gonna be okay. That doesn't leverage his life at all. Whereas every fucking felon I know has always had their life impacted for the rest of their life since the offense actually took place, right? So it you know, and I get it.
Like I'm not a felon. I got my felony removed. I removed my own felony.
Right.
He probably removed it. If he did it already, he gonna do it. He gonna remove it.
Prime answer out there pardoning every damn body. Like, go on ahead and pull that shit off. Take it off. Make marijuana federally legal. Give us 2 vendors and take the felony bullshit off of these background checks. Let people get jobs. Let people get fucking housing. Let people get better. Get us off the goddamn assistance. But people can't get off assistance because you can't be trying to get your shit together and have a man in your home. Let's say you have children. Well, if he's in your home, you can't get assistance because now you can't have a man in the home and get assistance. But you damn sure can't have a man or a woman in the home and get assistance and then have a background that's 1995 or older. Well, goddamn.
Hold on. I have a question, Nikki.
Yeah.
So, and this just came to me, but it's interesting.
All right.
So what if Trump then got in office? And I mean, he kick ass. The economy doing great. Everything's going well, swell. I got better jobs. My taxes down. Everything is got benefits for small businesses. Like everything. I'm like, he really turned this around. Would you vote for him in a second election if somehow he make up the rule that, well, it wasn't 2 consecutive terms, so I still get to go another term since
right. Oh, I
don't know exactly how that worked. So
right.
Would you? And I mean, he doing it. Would you vote for him on a re-election?
No.
Ooh, Nikki, my girl.
No.
Hey, Nikki, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm like, hey, if everything is noticeably better, I'm like, I don't know, I might.
No.
Nikki, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I was in your presence, I would toast to you with a drink. Cause you said you was freaking consistent with that one. I'm like, straight out, flat out, no.
No.
So that's exactly my answer. If Q would have asked me, no, I don't give a damn if he ran for a 4th term. No.
But Q,
that's not being objective though, right?
But you have to remember, Q, and so getting into those types of conversations, because a friend of mine called me last night, and he'll pick my brain a lot about shit that he's like, I need clarification. Just tell me if I'm tripping, or tell me where I need to go with this, right? And because he's very, very pro-black, and so we have phenomenal conversations, very good conversations. But he was like, I just lost the whole train of thought. Talking about Trump. Shit, how did I lose my train of thought just that quickly?
We were talking about revoting. We were talking about vote for
conversations. And so as him and I are having these really heated debates, I said, you know what? I said, but at the end of the day, neither one of our perspectives really fucking matters. These are literally just how we feel about this. Because if we subscribe to, and both him and I do, if we subscribe to the ideal that the voting system is rigged regardless of which direction it goes, and it's not an authentic way to pass a legitimate numbered ballot to indicate win or popularity, it doesn't matter all of the should I vote or should I not vote, or he did really good. I will definitely say that somebody did well in an area where they did well, but I would never vote for that person because I don't
Okay, so say we got rid of electoral college and then your vote did matter.
I still don't think that. I think that it's all written. I think that it's all whoever they want to have, whatever optical illusion they want to put at the front of the table. Like, there's no way that you could ever really tell me that the voting system is a legitimate voting system. But I also don't think that any of what you just described would happen, because that'd be so good for us. That'd be so good if those things happen.
No, but you could be so. I'm like, you know what, man? He right, man. He right. He did it.
He made America great again.
He made it great again, or made it great at least.
Made it great for the first time.
Yeah. You know, I see more dogs and cats walking down the street with no fear. Like, hey, everything is just.
No, I don't think he'd be able to pull all those things off. I don't think that he wants to pull those things off. He doesn't care about equality for a lot of people that do not look like him.
But. He does care about his own self-image, how he's going to be remembered in history, and making his name great forever. And that in itself could potentially bring forth a lot of good change.
Did you see him introduce his son at the inauguration? Did you see how he introduced? Oh my God, I just saw that today. Because again, I didn't watch the thing, but I shared it in the Freethinkers page as well, the Freethinker group. It's in my timeline too. It's in my stories too. But there's a part, I guess, in the inauguration where his son stands up and he introduces his son. And keep in mind, obviously it's been 4 years since, we really saw their family in the limelight like we had when he was, the active president. And for me at that time, his son Barron was like a little kid. He was like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? Apparently the kid's like 6'5", 6'6" now. Like, he's like 6'9" or 6'10". The kid is massively fucking tall. And he's definitely built just like Melania and Trump in one. He's got a very strange little shape to this fella. And he's also autistic, they've always kept him out of the limelight. Like, they've always, she's always kind of protected him quite a bit. But he stood up and he introduces his son, and boy, Trump was just smiling at that boy. And he was like, this is my son, Barron. And the little boy stands up and he's like this. Everybody's clapping for him. And he's like this. He's like, louder, give me some more. I was like, no fucking way. And he's just up there so rich and white and arrogant and pompous and
okay, so he's 18 years old now. He's 6'7".
You could see the white supremacy baton just being passed from one Trump to the next, because Trump's other kids are never going to get close. Trump's other kids are too old, but Barron coming up, he's right there.
They're too old, and he 80 years old. They ain't too old.
No, Trump's other kids are too old.
I'm saying they ain't older than him.
No, they're not. But Barron is young. He's fresh. He's coming up, born in the midst of this shit. Like, I mean, he was a teenager when Trump started running for politics. Can you imagine how much of his life has been surrounded by politics?
He do look like him too. That's crazy.
Between his brothers and his sister and his dad and his mama and I was like, that he's gonna there, and that's what they're saying. They're priming him for the next presidency. They'll be passing a torch to him. And I don't know if the Trump family is part of the official bloodlines. I'm sure that they are. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there. But it was just very interesting to watch that take place. Have his son up there like that, and then just his whole demeanor. There's a conversation on the Freethinkers group page about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we will.
But anyways, it's a lot going on. I'm sad that Denice wasn't here because the 2025 prediction conversation is definitely going down, and it's going to be a good one. So much.
Is that going to be in person, or did I miss that?
No, well, I mean, we could probably do one in person and then we'll pick up the next one online, but we definitely want to
Well,
do.
what do we want to do in person? No, Yahuka and I still got topic with gender wars on the table. We could do anything.
Well, but we got to figure out. We're trying to still figure out for next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is supposed to be our in person, but I just looked at the
Yes.
weather. The weather is cold and rainy.
Okay.
So
So we
you
gotta
can
see if
come
we gotta
by.
see if we can get that genuine Joe spot.
So yeah, so hopefully we'll have some details. We'll have some confirmation up in the next couple of days about what we're going to do. The worst case scenario, then we may just go live, and we'll have to pick another day to do our in person if we have to. Weather's just been shitty here, as y'all know. It's going to be
Yeah.
nicer, but next week is supposed to be rainy and cold. And we love going to Brent's spot. Don't get me wrong, Dirty Glove is definitely it's our spot of choice.
I
But if it's
still
cold
need
rain,
I still need to run them nachos back. It was 2 months ago when I went there, and my stomach wasn't ready to receive them. I'm ready now. We got to run it back again.
Oh, they were so good. God, they were so good. So we'll figure it out between now and next Tuesday, obviously, whether we're going to be in person or whether we will meet online. But we will definitely pick up the 2025 prediction conversation with Denice. And I wanted to say a quick side note. Some of our friends have lost family members a lot, in the last 2-3 weeks. Crystal lost her mother, condolences to her and her family. Joe B lost his sister, condolences to him and his family.
Yeah.
Kiera, who is Crystal's cousin, just lost her mother. Miss Cookie would come on the show every once in a blue moon. We would do Tiara Talks on Thursdays, and her mom was there. She just passed away yesterday, I think, actually. So, heart goes out to so many people that are going through it, man. And have been absent here, but certainly have been missed, and have been thought about. And, I just wanted to take a quick second to tell you that we miss you and we love you. And certainly sending our condolences to you guys and your families. Y'all know I'm not good on that grief thing when it comes to losing a parent. Boy, that shit hit me hard. And it's taken 5 years and some change just to maybe think I'm gonna be all right. So just hang in there, y'all. This shit ain't gonna get easier. Don't let anybody tell you that it is. It will not get easier. It just hurts different every fucking day. And
Hey, Nikki.
sometimes it just is what it is. But come back to us whenever you're ready, because
So
we got a place that feels like home for y'all. So I just wanted to make a second to let them know that we certainly love them and condolences to their family.
yeah, glad you said that.
Nikki,
Yeah. Yes.
I want to ask you a question. Can you give me a brief synopsis of the importance of a relationship between a father and his daughter?
I can't give you a brief synopsis of that, but the importance of a relationship between a father and his daughter,
Yes.
without me crying.
I know it's a little bit off topic, but you just mentioned about grieving and a parent, a child losing their parent, and it just made me think about that dynamic.
It's for me, because I had a good father. I had a great man as a dad. I had somebody that I was proud of, somebody that I was not embarrassed by, somebody that did not let me down, somebody that held me accountable every day. Like, I had a good man for a father. If a girl is to have a dad, right? There's a lot of dads out here that are shit, that suck, that are not good men, that are not good boys, that are not they're not good. They're not good leaders. They're just not good. And I don't have that experience, and I think that's one of the reasons why my expectations and my behavior is the way that it is. And I believe in good men because I come from good men. So I have an aversion to not good men because I don't understand how the fuck you can be one. So the importance of the quality of your relationship with your daughter is far more important than the quantity of the relationship with your daughter, because the quality is everything. You can be around and be nothing. You teach nothing. You impart nothing. But you could be around and you could be everything. And you teach that and you impart that. The hardest part about having a good dad as a daughter is when he leaves. and you're not sure how you're supposed to operate because he drove the ship, right? But in the grief process, you remember that because he drove that ship, like, you've been taking notes your whole life. So you can drive the ship. You just got to jump the fuck up there and drive the ship. But oftentimes in grief, you're in the bottom of the ship. You're trying to jump off the side of that motherfucker. You don't even want to get on the ship. So it's important to be a man who can steer your daughter to where she can drive that fucking ship. She has to drive that ship. A father's a compass. So I mean it when I say to men who father their children that you have changed their life. You've changed the course of their life. You've changed the course of the generations after them, because then those daughters are going to try to find the same thing in their partners. They're going to want to raise their sons the same way. As the best thing my sons have is my dad through me. You change their lives. You save lives. You create a ripple that is just so absolutely necessary. And I'm sure the same thing can be said for fathers and sons and mothers and daughters and mothers and sons. But as a daughter with a father who I don't have access to anymore, it is only his teachings that help me drive this ship. And I'm so fucking grateful for that. And I only hope that that's what I impart unto my children.
Yeah, I only asked that question because I have daughters of my own,
Yep.
and it is my ambition to erase the stigma and the stereotype
Yep.
that the narrative of Black fathers,
Mm-hmm.
and I will share with you and the viewers and all those on this panel that my daughters have expressed to me. My 4-year-old told me that I'm the best dad in the whole world. When it's I don't think a lot of women understand this. Just the simplest of words does a lot to a man, especially if it's coming from the women that he loves, wife or daughters, or even sons.
Mm-hmm.
But to hear that elevates and uplifts the man to go through a brick wall for that individual. In my case, my daughter. Then I have my 10-year-old. He was at the park chilling and whatnot, and she says, "Thank you for all that you do." And I was like, "Thank you. That made me feel special. I feel special. Thank you. I appreciate that." But that lets me know that I'm doing something right, and at least my children see that. You know, they see me. They have a relationship with me and whatnot, because I've had experience with women that haven't had good relationship with their fathers, or trying to close the proverbial, get some closure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you was talking about the grieving part, you know, and these mentioned parents, like somebody losing their mom and whatnot. I mean, I lost my dad, but I was 6 years old, so I didn't really understand the concept of death and how that could impact somebody. But my mom is still alive,
Mm-hmm.
and you know she's on the decline herself. So I don't know how I'm going to respond or react when she passes on. But I know that losing a parent could be devastating because that's your parent. You only get one. And
Mm-hmm.
I know a sister that has lost both her parents in the past 5 or 6 years or so. And um, the the aftermath of it, as far as like, you know, the ability for the even as an adult, for the child to function in life and whatnot, and without their parents being there, it can be detrimental. It can be hard. but they got to push through that. It is a pain that doesn't go away. It just remains. Oh, IQ left. I was getting a little too sentimental for him. But
No,
anyway,
might have got kicked off.
okay. But anyway, I just wanted to ask that question because you mentioned your dad a lot, and I have daughters, so I want to know because I think it's very important as far as the father-daughter dynamic and relationship in the home in regards to the family, and it makes a huge impact.
It is, and I think that I don't think that I really even knew what that was until I didn't have my dad anymore, and then until my children didn't have their father anymore either, right? So it's like when you don't have either of those things in play, it allows you to go back and look at a time when you did and evaluate it or reassess or assess it. And you really realize that even if I don't feel like I ever took those things for granted, boy, do I fucking miss them and how valuable they are and how necessary they are. And, you know, a lot of people, when they lose their parent, especially if you were close to your parents, you go for a period of time of just being lost. And especially as an adult, you know, maybe as a younger child, not even knowing what the fuck grief is. So it's hard to even put together how I feel. But as an adult, like, we kind of identify these feelings and thoughts a little bit more. So you know what grief, you know that this is a grief thing, and this is sadness, and this is loss, and this is hurt, and this is confusion, and this is anger, and this is the feeling of lost, you know, as an adult woman who can pay all of her bills and who has, you know, taken care of her children by herself for such a long time. Like, the feeling of loss is still so significant, even as an adult, that I couldn't imagine if I didn't have, you know, the compass that I had and the principles that I had instilled in me to fucking make it through the last 5 years, you know? And it's, you know, we talked about 2024 last week, and 2024 was like the icing on a shit cake for me. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with the grief process. I'm just done with shit I can't control, right? But I'm so grateful that my dad instilled all of these things in me. Every day I have a fucking reminder lesson from him that I'm like, dang, I don't think these lessons hit me that way, you know, when I still had him. So I'm grateful that he's still able to lead me and guide my decisions and be okay. And I applaud any man who willingly, proudly, empathetically, you know, does that for his children, because so many children don't have a good father. They don't have a good man. You don't have to even be a biological, you know, father. There's a lot of men out there who do far more than biological men do. It doesn't matter. Just men who stay around to help be a compass for a child in a good way is what everybody needs. Because when it happens, you need those lessons. You need that safety net that they provided to get them through losing you. It's the most fucked up thing ever. But it eventually, hopefully, does come. It's tough. And you said, you know, you don't know how you're gonna be when that time comes. You couldn't prepare yourself even if you could. I said literally from the second that my dad died that you get inducted to a club you never wanted to be in, and that you could never ever prepare yourself for. You don't know until you're there. And then when you're there, the camaraderie that you have with other people who are also in that club is what helps kind of get you through, right? But having had a solid relationship helps me get through that so much more than not having had a solid relationship. So I don't know where that conversation is supposed to go for anybody who is listening, but for God's sakes, if you are not close to your children, fucking reach out. Reach out to your children. Time is short. We don't have much. I don't care what your other children do. You do whatever you got to do to reach out to your children. Yep. They need
you brought up folks that has passed on, and then you mentioned something about somebody losing their mother. So it kind of spawned off of that
Mm-hmm.
when I asked the question.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And for
Yeah.
people who that's their close parent, you know, that it's gonna hit just as hard for me as it was for me for my dad. It's tough. We could do a whole damn show on grief. That's just
Yeah, we could. That's definitely a topic that we could bring up at another time. Probably need to start make it a whole show.
I know
Has that topic ever been discussed?
Grief? I don't
I'm
think
sure.
grief. Not like that.
I've discussed it before, but
No, on the show.
Yeah, on the
Has
show.
it been?
So
yeah, we did it just well, I don't know about this. I do a lot of shows, so
yeah,
not sure, and that's something that you gotta be in the right mind space and be prepared to be in a certain mind space to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing that you
Right.
just you don't want to just bring it up out of nowhere because people got to be prepared for that. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for everyone's participation. If you have any thoughts, ideas, always let us know. We'd be more than happy to speak about it and talk about it. So we will just be on the lookout. We have more information within the next few days about whether we're going to be doing an in-person meeting or a virtual meeting. We'll let you know. So just stay connected to the Freethinkers page, and that's it. Until next time.
Good night. We'll see y'all next week.
And good night to y'all.
Good night. Thanks for